Just one moment. Yeah, good morning. So here we are on 11th August, resuming our reading of Anubhavatmak Adhyatma. I'm sorry, I forgot to share it. Just a moment. Just a moment. Yeah, here we are. So, okay. So we will begin reading of realization-centered spiritualism, which is English version of Anubhavatmak Adhyatmavad, which is part of Madhyastha Darshan literature. And we will be beginning from page 27. Incidentally, this is the beginning of chapter 3 of the Hindi book. So we have completed 2 chapters in the book. And if we look at the index, we go straight away. Okay, so the book has 7 chapters. We have completed 2 chapters, which were the first 26 pages. And today we'll be beginning from the 3rd chapter and progressively we'll proceed. So let me straight away go to.
Okay, Poonam ji is also trying to join actually. She said
Oh,
unable. Poonam ji.
okay. Okay. So with the initial, introductory chapters done, and now Babaji is shifting to Atma here or the Jivan part. So अनुभव सहज प्रामाणिकता सर्व मानव में से के लिए समान है. Authenticity of realization is same in, by, and for all human beings. Okay, so the Jivan aspect, gradually we will see now, this is a small chapter, I think. Yeah, it is 12 pages. And actually, the fourth chapter is where Babaji is talking about Jivan, Jivan Kriya, and he's drawing our attention in detail, in conversational language. So we'll just see what is there in this chapter as we proceed. I think we can, till others join, we can follow this format that maybe Dev Bhaiya, you will read in Hindi and Spencer, you can read in English, right?
जी भैया.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So over to you, Dev Bhai.
Okay. Um, Chapter 3, Authenticity of Realization is same in, by, and for all human beings. अनुभव सहज प्रामाणिकता सर्व मानव में से के लिए समान है. इस ग्रंथ के पूर्व के अध्यायों में इस तथ्य और घटना को स्पष्ट किया है कि मानव का जब से इस धरती पर उदय हुआ है तब से 20वीं शताब्दी के दसवें दशक तक व्यक्ति के रूप में, परिवार के रूप में, समुदायों के रूप में जो कुछ भी कर पाया, सोच पाया, जिसके फलस्वरूप जो परिणाम आज की स्थिति में देखने को मिल रहा है, उसे विविध प्रकार से हृदयंगम कराया गया है. वह एक जो कुछ भी सोच पाया, जिसको अधिकांश लोग अथवा समुदाय के अधिकांश लोग मान्यता पूर्वक आस्था रखते रहे हैं, वह रहस्यमय अध्यात्मवादी विचार, रहस्यमयी अधिदेवीय विचार और रहस्यमयी अधिभौतिक विचार बनाम आदर्शवाद एवं दो अस्थिरता अनिश्चयता मूलक वस्तुवाद बनाम भौतिकवाद है.
It has been emphasized in the previous chapters of this text that since the appearance of humans on Earth till now, i.e., the last decade of the 20th century, whatever humans could do and think as individuals, as families, and as sects, and the apparent results and outcomes thereof, has been variously brought out and ingrained as 1. Whatever humans could think, and which was faithfully believed by the majority, or the majority of a sect, is mystery-based spiritual, mystery-based polytheism, and mystery-based metaphysical thought, collectively called idealism. And 2, instability, uncertainty-based worldview, or materialism.
Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, Devbhai. So I think this is one of the longest sentences in the book. Okay, this is one sentence. It will take some time. It took me some time figuring out how to translate. So let us see. इस ग्रंथ के पूर्व के अध्यायों में इस तथ्य और घटना को स्पष्ट किया है कि मानव का जब से इस धरती पर उदय हुआ तब से 20वीं शताब्दी के 10वें दशक, 20वीं शताब्दी मतलब 1900 से 2000, तो उसका 10वां शतक, दैट इज द टाइम फ्रेम एंड बाबा जी इज राइटिंग दिस बुक, between 1990 and 2000. So this is the last decade of the 20th century. तक व्यक्ति के रूप में, परिवार के रूप में, समुदायों के रूप में जो कुछ भी कर पाया, सोच पाया, जिसके फलस्वरूप जो परिणाम आज की स्थिति में देखने को मिल रहा है, उसे विविध प्रकार से हृदयंगम कराया गया है. ओके, ये इस ग्रंथ के पूर्व के अध्यायों में. सो नाउ दिस इज व्हाट बाबा जी इज समराइजिंग, दैट प्रायर टू दिस चैप्टर सो फॉर व्हाट वी हैव डन इज इन समरी that whatever efforts humans have made as families and individuals, as various sects, as a result of all that, where they stand today, that is, तो वह जो कुछ भी सोच पाया, जिसको अधिकांश लोग अथवा समुदाय के अधिकांश लोग मान्यता पूर्वक आस्था रखते रहे हैं. एक्चुअली दिस आल्सो इज नॉट ए फुल स्टॉप, देव भाई, दिस इज ए कंटिन्यूएशन, राइट. वह रहस्यमय आध्यात्मवादी विचार, रहस्यमय अधिदैवीय विचार और रहस्यमय अधिभौतिक विचार है, और दूसरा या अस्थिरता, अनिश्चयता मूलक वस्तुवाद बनाम भौतिकवाद है. तो इट हैज बीन एम्फेसाइज्ड इन द प्रीवियस चैप्टर्स ऑफ दिस टेक्स्ट, है ना, इस ग्रंथ के पूर्व के अध्यायों में, that since the appearance of humans on earth until now, that is till the last decade of the 20th century, whatever humans could do and think as individuals, as family, and as sects, and the apparent results and outcomes thereof, है ना, जिसके फलस्वरूप जो परिणाम आज की स्थिति में देखने को मिल रहा है, को कहा, दे आर द apparent results and outcomes thereof has been variously brought out and ingrained as. Okay, so whatever we have observed in the history of mankind, primarily we can say that there are two outcomes. One, whatever humans could think and which was faithfully believed by the majority, है ना, जो कुछ भी सोच पाया, जिसको अधिकांश लोग अथवा समुदाय के अधिकांश लोग मान्यता पूर्वक आस्था रखते रहे. So whatever humans could think and which was faithfully believed by the majority or the majority of the sect. So majority means either the majority of the humankind, or if humankind is already divided into sects, then whatever the majority in a sect could think is mystery based spiritual. This is one aspect of that. Okay, mystery based polytheism, this is second aspect, and mystery based metaphysical thoughts, okay, collectively called idealism. So जो कुछ भी वो सोच पाया, okay, वह रहस्यमय आध्यात्मवाद. So Babaji has been always saying that what he is saying, आदर्शवाद or idealism, is broadly divided in three categories. One, आध्यात्मवादी विचार, okay, which is the thought of spirituality, which primarily, if we see the distinction between these three, there is only one God. Okay, if primarily we are looking at spirituality from that angle, that we are saying is adhyatmavadi vichar or the spiritual thought. Then the रहस्यमय अधिदैवीय vichar. So अधिदैवीय is which is based on Devi Devta. Okay, so now this is polytheism. You look at many mythological characters. Okay, which are in various sects are many times taken as gods and goddesses. Okay, they are worshipped. So while one thought, the first one was saying there is one God, this one says there are many, you know, what we should say, these gods and goddesses who are worth worshipping, worth emulating, worth following. Okay, like, and then there are stories about them. So poly is like multiple. So polytheism. This is like basically monotheism. Okay, so one God, this is polytheism, which is believing on having faith in many gods. And then रहस्यमयी अधिभौतिक विचार, which we are using the word for the time being metaphysical thoughts, but maybe we'll work out if there is something better than this, which primarily means that although this in this category there is an importance of on the materialistic part, but at the same time there is a thought that the world is something beyond physics or physicality also, something beyond materialism also, without having much clarity about that, but at the same time not rejecting altogether the thought of something beyond the material. Okay, so that something beyond the material world is this word conveys metaphysical. Metaphysical means something more than physical, something beyond the physical. So these are the three categories collectively which Babaji has been saying: Adarshvad or idealism. So one is during all this journey, this is where one group of people stand in their thought process, and then the others are looking, others who their thought process is अस्थिरता अनिश्चयता मूलक वस्तुवाद बनाम भौतिकवाद, instability, uncertainty based worldview or materialism. Okay, so this is the summary of or the balanced critique of whatever has been said so far. Any comments?
Seems straightforward. Yeah.
Right.
These are the two thoughts that human beings have, basically,
Yes.
until now.
This word, bhaiya,
Which one?
Granth. Have we not used the word scriptures earlier? Scripture.
Yeah, somewhere I have used that also.
Right.
Somewhere I have used that. Let me see. Scripture in this book, how many times we have used.
Right. Yeh Granth and scripture.
So here also I have written scripture in bracket. Outside I have put book. Okay. I just did this is a scripture which others have written. So like when someone else has written something which is very good, like that, and we are calling it scripture, I straight away did that. But maybe according to scriptures, matlab, from this book scripture, I think, yeah. Okay. So let us do one thing. I don't mind. So I'll continue with the same format. And then when we are talking in our, other review, there we will discuss this. For the time being, I will just follow what we did earlier. Okay.
जी
Anything else?
नहीं भैया, I think straightforward and it's
Yeah.
nicely successfully translated.
Next देखते हैं.
Should I start? Should I read भैया?
Yeah.
Okay. इस प्रकार भय, प्रलोभन, आस्थावादी विचारों के साथ ही मानव कुल अपना गति बनाए रखने में अभ्यास करता रहा। पहले विचार के मूल प्रतिपादन में ईश्वर से सब पैदा होता है। इसमें प्रमुख तथ्य आंखों में दिखने वाली वस्तुओं को माया कहा गया। दूसरे विचार के अनुसार ईश्वरीयता गौण हो गया, वस्तु प्रधान हो गया। वस्तुवादी मूल प्रतिपादन में वस्तु से चेतना पैदा होने की बात कही। इसका सूत्र रचना के साथ जोड़ा गया। रचना के अनुसार चेतना पैदा होने की बात कही। यही भौतिकवाद का मूल प्रतिपादन है।
Spencer.
In this manner, humankind kept on managing its affairs with the thoughts of fear, temptation, and faith. Basic postulation in the first thought, idealism, is that God creates everything. The main point here is that all the realities which can be seen with eyes are categorized as illusion. In the second thought, materialism, God becomes secondary and matter becomes primary. It is also postulated here that matter gives rise to consciousness. Consciousness is linked with the constitution of the entity. This is the basic postulation of materialism.
Okay, so now Babaji is trying to see that what are the basic points in both these things. इस प्रकार भय, प्रलोभन, आस्थावादी विचारों के साथ ही मानव कुल अपना गति बनाए रखने में अभ्यास करता रहा. So in this manner, humankind kept on managing its affairs with the thoughts of fear, temptation, and faith. पहले विचार, so पहला विचार मतलब वो आध्यात्मवाद वाला. पहले विचार के मूल प्रतिपादन में ईश्वर से सब पैदा होता है. Basic postulation in the first thought. Okay, so for clarity, I have added here idealism. अब देव भाई बताओ, आइडियलिज्म निकाल भी दें तो क्लियर ही हो जाता है. इट इज बेटर टू कीप इट दिस वे.
भैया क्लियर लग रहा है वैसे तो बिना
इसके
इसके भी।
बिना
जी
जी. Okay. So basic postulation in the first thought is that God creates everything. है? पहले विचार के मूल प्रतिपादन में ईश्वर से सब पैदा होता है. इसमें प्रमुख तथ्य क्या है? आंखों में दिखने वाली सभी वस्तुओं को माया कहा गया है. The main point here is that all the realities which can be seen with eyes are categorized as illusion. Okay, so ये आंख is या eyes is a sort of just a word here. Basically, I think what the spirituality or idealism says is everything which we can sense with our senses. Okay, all that is illusion. उसी को माया कहा गया. दूसरे विचार के अनुसार ईश्वरीयता गौण हो गया, वस्तु प्रधान हो गया. इन द सेकंड थॉट, God becomes secondary and matter becomes primary. वस्तुवादी मूल प्रतिपादन में वस्तु से चेतना पैदा होने की बात कही. इट इज पॉस्टुलेटेड हियर. ओके, अभी मटेरियलिज्म की ही बात हो रही है, so we are continuing with the same sentence. It is also postulated here that matter gives rise to consciousness. So, my understanding of this is, even though there are purely materialistic people who deny existence of God, they are not able to deny the existence of thoughts. Okay, so when faced a question that like if God is not there, and if soul is not there, or Atma is not there, then from where the thoughts are coming? So then the answer from there is the thoughts are being created in the brain. Now, brain is a physico-chemical entity, so brain is giving rise to thoughts. That is where the argument is, that the consciousness is there. Okay, so that consciousness is originating from brain. So it is also postulated here that matter gives rise to consciousness. रचना के अनुसार चेतना पैदा होने की बात कही. Consciousness is linked to the constitution of the entity. Okay, so based on the basic composition or constitution of the entity, the consciousness is dependent on that. So if someone is indulging in a bad or antisocial conduct, it is basically the brain which is the problem. यही भौतिकवाद का मूल प्रतिपादन है. This is the basic postulation of materialism. ठीक है, Babaji is clarifying it further also. Okay, इसको we'll read it in Babaji's words, but so far बताइए कैसा लग रहा है. Spencer, you also see generally, like whatever we are saying is generally what we have understood, in our society also, right? We have heard of these things. Nothing new here.
Yeah, I think he gives a good explanation, and linking that consciousness emerges from matter, and it's a result of the constitution of that matter. So it has not been figured out what it is exactly, but
Yes.
that it's somehow a result of that matter
Yes.
coming.
Yes.
That's good.
Right. Dev bhai?
I think again straightforward भैया. I just have one point.
Yeah.
वस्तुओं को माया कहा गया, उसको हमने ट्रांसलेट किया all the realities. So थोड़ा सा आपको मतलब और नहीं लग
Yes.
रहा है, like reality बोल रहे हैं फिर उसको illusion बोल रहे हैं, थोड़ा contradictory सा लग रहा है वो.
So, but we can sort of review it, but I think on when you are mentioning it, all the realities which can be seen with eyes. So probably like suddenly we can visualize there can be some realities which cannot be seen with eyes also. Okay, so the like God. Okay, so God also, people may consider having the believers that yes, it is a reality, but it cannot be seen with eyes. So God is not an illusion. The realities which can be seen with eyes or which can be perceived with senses, they are categorized as illusion.
Okay.
Now, what would you suggest here?
I was thinking of something like a matter or material. So for example, what will be the difference between so realities?
All the physical matter kar dein.
Yes.
Physical objects या matter?
All the physical objects matter. Objects sounds better to me, or I don't know. Same ही है वैसे तो भैया.
बताइए. All the physical matter which can be seen with eyes. या all the physical world ही कर दे. पूरा संसार ही माया है?
हाँ जी भैया, सही लग रहा है और कुछ समझ नहीं आया है.
All the physical world which can be seen with eyes is categorized as illusion.
And आएगा.
Google says make it as an illusion, but I am good with illusion, which can be seen with eyes, is categorized as illusion. Can we override Google here?
चलेगा जी भैया.
Yeah, you can override because illusion is just like, it's a singular
Yes,
illusion. It's like
yes.
the illusion. It's like
Correct.
the
I also think so. Okay.
अभी
Okay.
ठीक है, बढ़िया भी।
So, mhm, yes. So we go to this is a longer paragraph. I thought that I had made full screen. Yes, now we can.
ओके।
Thereby.
विविध रचनाएं मानव के सम्मुख देखने को मिलता ही रहा। इसी के साथ साथ शरीरवाही यानों, वस्तुवाही वाहनों, शब्दवाही, दृश्यवाही यंत्रों, उपकरणों को मानव के सम्मुख प्रस्तुत किया। इसके प्रति सामान्य लोगों की भी आस्था जुड़ी, इसलिए इस और सर्वाधिक लोगों का ध्यान गया, स्वीकारा गया। इसी के साथ साथ उत्पादन कार्यों में सहायक यंत्रोपकरणों को निर्मित किया गया। रचना के आधार पर ही वस्तुएं काम किया रहता है। संपूर्ण रचनाओं को यंत्र के रूप में पहचानने के लिए प्रयत्न किया, कोशिश किया। कुछ को स्वीकार पाए, कुछ को नहीं स्वीकार पाए। जहां तक पदार्थ अवस्था की रचनाएं हैं, उनके उपयोग से ही सर्वाधिक अथवा संपूर्ण यंत्र निर्मित होते आया। हर यंत्र ईंधन संयोग से चलता रहा। विज्ञान के कथन के अनुसार रचना के अनुसार काम करता है, जबकि ईंधन संयोग के बिना कोई यंत्र काम नहीं किया। वनस्पति एवं शरीर को यंत्र रचना के रूप में मानते हुए अंतुगत्वा हड्डी के आधार पर संपूर्ण रचना, संपूर्ण जीव शरीर, संपूर्ण मानव शरीर को मानते हुए निरृत्व मानव तत्व को उन्हें किसी हड्डी में होने के अंदाज पर खोजते आ रहे हैं। इसी के साथ प्रयोग दर प्रयोग के परिणति को अंतिम सत्यता मानते हुए अबाध गति से प्रयोगों को बुलंद किए रहते हैं।
Spencer.
Yes. Humans naturally came across various compositions in the course of their living. Also, science presented means of transportation for people and goods, and machines and equipment for telecommunications. Most people noticed it, accepted it, and developed faith in it. Side by side, machines and equipment useful in production work were also developed. Machines and equipment work exactly as per their constitution. On this basis, humans tried to recognize and analyze all creations and entities as machines. It worked in some cases, and in some cases it did not. Nearly all machines are made from compositions of material order. All machines need energy. As per science, a machine works as per its constitution, although no machine has ever worked without fuel. While believing that plants and animals and human bodies are also machines, scientists kept on looking for the human element, consciousness, only in flesh and bones, assuming the results and outcomes of the experiments already conducted to be the ultimate truth. The scientists kept on doing more experiments in the same direction in an unrestrained manner.
Now Babaji is building the narrative, unfolding the story, in an interesting manner. It is straightforward. We'll just read it again line by line. विविध रचनाएं मानव के सम्मुख देखने को मिलता ही रहा. Humans naturally came across various compositions in the course of their living. Okay. इसी के साथ साथ शरीरवाही यानों, वस्तुवाही वाहनों, शब्दवाही, दृश्यवाही यंत्रोपकरणों को मानव के सम्मुख प्रस्तुत किया. Also, science presented means of transportation for people and goods. Okay, so thereby my interpretation here is sharirvahi yan, vastuvahi vahan. Okay, so sharirvahi yan is a means of transport which carries humans, and vastuvahi vahan is goods transport basically. Okay. शब्दवाही इज ऑडियो, दृश्यवाही इज वीडियो, है ना। शब्दवाही दृश्यवाही यंत्रों उपकरणों को मानव के सम्मुख प्रस्तुत किया। नो, Babaji is not specifically using the word vigyan in this sentence or in the previous sentence. I think the sense here is that science presented all this. Okay, so materialism versus idealism, that is the story from which we started. So I have added the word here, science. Also, science presented means of transportation for people and goods, and machines and equipment for telecommunications. Okay, so audio, video, shabd and drishya, iske liye we are using the common word telecommunications. इसके प्रति सामान्य लोगों की भी आस्था जुड़ी. Most people noticed it. I have made these two sentences in one sentence. इसके प्रति सामान्य लोगों की भी आस्था जुड़ी, इसलिए इस ओर सर्वाधिक लोगों का ध्यान गया, स्वीकारा गया. So most people noticed it, accepted it, and developed faith in it. They have confidence that car works. They have confidence that mobile works. They have confidence that the house is stable. Okay, so in this sense it is safe. इसी के साथ साथ उत्पादन कार्यों में सहायक यंत्रोपकरणों को भी निर्मित किया गया. Okay, so this was for transportation or audio video. Now, side by side, machines and equipment useful in production work were also developed. You know, all the factories and other things which we have seen, like which are useful in production work. Either they make it faster or they make it easier. They sort of reduce the human element, human labor, and machine does most of the work. So side by side, machines and equipment. So this word here, yantropkarano, is yantra and upkaran, okay, which has come, I think, once more also. Yantra alag se bhi aa raha hai. So yantropkarano ko machines and equipment likha hai. In some sense, two words I have also used here. निर्मित किया गया. So side by side, machines and equipment useful in production work were also developed. रचना के आधार पर ही वस्तुएं काम किया रहता है. संपूर्ण रचनाओं को यंत्र के रूप में पहचानने के लिए प्रयत्न किया, कोशिश किया. Machines and equipment work exactly as per their constitution. On this basis, humans try to recognize and analyze all creations and entities as machines. Okay, संपूर्ण रचनाओं को यंत्र के, तो रचना के आधार पर वस्तु काम करती है, तो इस आधार पर संपूर्ण रचनाओं को यंत्र के रूप में पहचानने के लिए प्रयत्न किया, कोशिश किया. Okay, so this is the approach science has taken. I'll just read it again. Machines and equipment work exactly as per their constitution. On this basis, humans try to recognize and analyze all creations and entities as machines. Spencer, so far so good? Things are going in a flow and generally it's getting conveyed, right?
Yeah, it's makes sense for sure.
कुछ को स्वीकार कर पाए, कुछ को नहीं कर पाए. It worked in some cases and in some cases it did not. Okay, so humans tried to recognize and analyze all creations and entities as machines. So this approach, okay, it ki jagah I think we can actually say this approach worked in some cases and in some cases it did not. Okay, now Babaji is saying where it worked and where it did not work. जहां तक पदार्थावस्था की रचनाएं हैं, उनके उपयोग से ही सर्वाधिक अथवा संपूर्ण यंत्र निर्मित होते आए. Okay, so nearly all machines. So Babaji is saying either all or maximum. So I've just made it nearly all machines are made from compositions of material order. हर यंत्र ईंधन संयोग से चलता रहा. All machines need energy. विज्ञान के कथन के अनुसार रचना के अनुसार काम करता है, जबकि ईंधन संयोग के बिना कोई यंत्र काम नहीं किया। As per science, a machine works as per its constitution, although no machine has ever worked without fuel. वनस्पति एवं शरीर को यंत्र रचना के रूप में मानते हुए अंततोगत्वा हड्डी के आधार पर संपूर्ण रचना, संपूर्ण जीव शरीर, संपूर्ण मानव शरीर को मानते हुए नृतत्व अर्थात मानव तत्व को उन्हीं किसी हड्डी में होने के अंदाज पर खोजते रहे। ओके, दिस इज इंटरेस्टिंग। While believing that plants and all animal and human bodies are also machines, scientists kept on looking for the human element or consciousness only in flesh and bones. Okay. So, like humans are, I mean, this is, I think, as a gut feeling, everyone, it is acceptable to everyone. And in the past also, like these observations must have been made that people categorize that, and the governments also categorize, the families also categorize that the conduct of some people is good and the conduct of other people is not so good. Okay, so there is some difference in persons, and then they try to see based on the physical composition, based on the heredity. If someone belongs to family X, he or she must be good. Someone belongs to family Y, he or she must be not good. Okay, so based on genetics, based on heredity, okay, based on the physical composition. दिस ह्यूमन एलिमेंट जो बाबा जी इसको नृतत्व या मानव तत्व कह रहे हैं, कि जो उसका नेचर है, द इनेट नेचर ऑफ ए पर्सन, मानव का जो स्वभाव है, स्वभाव को इनेट नेचर जैसे कह रहे हैं, तो that nature of a person, that also the scientists have, they only can see the physical world, so they are looking at flesh and bones. And once Rakesh Gupta bhaiya, he told me in one of our meetings that Babaji used to say that all these scientists who dig out the skeletons of dinosaurs and the other extinct animals or animals which are existing now also, but their let's say skeletons are available now, which existed thousands of years ago. All this study, it only tells you the physical evolution. Okay. Now the consciousness is something which is quite different from flesh and blood. Okay, so this is what Babaji is highlighting here. So इसी के आधार पर उसको तो वनस्पति शरीर को यंत्र रचना मानते हुए मानव को भी किसी हड्डी में खोजते गए। तो मैंने हड्डी के साथ में फ्लैश भी ऐड कर दिया है, सो दैट लाइक बाबा जी वाला भाषा मेरे को अच्छा लगा, मांस और हड्डी में स्वभाव नहीं है। सो व्हाइल बिलीविंग that plants and all animals and human bodies are also machines, scientists kept on looking for the human element, okay, or the innate nature of a person or consciousness, also करते हैं क्या, also only in flesh and bones. इसी के साथ प्रयोग दर प्रयोग के परिणति को अंतिम सत्यता मानते हुए अबाध गति के प्रयोगों से बुलंद किए रहते हैं। Okay. Assuming the results and outcomes of the experiments already conducted to be the ultimate truth, the scientists keep on doing more and more experiments in the same direction in an unrestrained manner. So, उसी को अंतिम सत्य मान रहे हैं। So, like they still consider this to be the ultimate truth and keep on doing more and more experiments in the same direction. Okay. It continues in the next paragraph also, but whatever we have seen, translation and general flow, if there is any discussion we want to hold, we can do it. Devai, Spencer.
Seems like a good translation, straightforward sentences, and One thing that stood out, I guess the reason he's referring to like not using fuel or using fuel is because Jivan does not require fuel,
Ye-
right? So as long as we're looking for things that need fuel, we're missing that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, right. But like Babaji is saying that machine is there and machine needs fuel. So I mean, these are the things which are unsaid in this paragraph, but gradually, well, when we understand the whole thing, we understand. As far as the body is concerned, the fuel is in the form of oxygen and water and food that we take.
Yeah.
Okay. But then again, is our nature dependent on the food we take, or is it something else?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's good that you pointed it out, Spencer. Like I mean, as soon as Babaji mentions it, I mean, I think that he also realized that these things will come into discussion and relevant questions will be raised.
Mhm.
Very good point. Yes. देव भाई
भैया एक मुझे समझना था कि
जी
या इसके प्रति सामान्य लोगों की भी आस्था जुड़ी this line इसलिए इस
जी
और right so in English I think it is making more sense to me at least in what you translated in English. So is this something like as important? Basically, I'm talking about the order of it. Is it like a deliberate attempt to put this in this particular order? Like in Hindi, you see that आस्था जुड़ी पहले आ रहा है and then इसलिए उसका लोगों का ध्यान गया स्वीकारा गया.
okay yeah I think maybe I took it a bit lightly, but we can try to change the flow also. So how would you suggest
No, no, भैया
here?
आपने जो इंग्लिश में लिखा है ना, so I think
Hmm.
that is to me that is making more sense. But हिंदी में जो लिखा है, I'm a little doubtful of that. So
Okay.
that's why I'm asking if that is
ओके सो
actually
हिंदी में
important enough.
पहले जो है वो आ गया आस्था जुड़ी और
हाँ,
फिर लोगों का ध्यान गया.
right. And on
ओके.
top of that, there is an इसलिए as well.
हम्म.
So वो थोड़ा सा odd है.
ठीक है, so we'll just leave it at that. Like we have not sort of changed or sort of what you should say, excluded something from translation. Okay, everything that is written has been captured here. People noticed it, people accepted it, and developed faith in it. I think we can continue with it.
जी, ठीक
What
है,
you are saying, maybe I also looked at it similar way. That's why I translated it like this.
ठीक है भैया.
नमस्ते कृष्ण भाई. आवाज आ रही है कृष्ण भाई? म्यूट पे हैं आप. ओके, लगता है इधर उधर होंगे थोड़ा सा. देव भाई आप आगे इसको कंटिन्यू करेंगे.
जी. इन दो इन दोनों की समीक्षा यही है कि चेतना से पदार्थ और पदार्थ से चेतना इस दशक तक प्रमाणित नहीं हुआ. भक्ति विरक्ति प्रयोगों का अबाध गति इन दोनों क्रम में सत्य सहज सुलभ होने का कोई मार्ग प्रशस्त नहीं हुआ. वस्तुवादी यंत्रों को प्रमाण मानते हैं, आदर्शवादी आदर्श व्यक्तियों को प्रमाण मानते आए हैं. आदर्श व्यक्तियों के पहचान का पृष्ठभूमि भक्ति विरक्ति ही है. यंत्र प्रमाण मानने की पृष्ठभूमि प्रयोगशाला ही है. वह भी स्वयं यंत्रोपकरण ही है. आदर्श व्यक्तियों को आप्त पुरुष नाम दिया है, उनके वचनों को प्रमाण माना गया है, जबकि वस्तुवादी विधि से पारंगत यंत्रों को प्रमाण माना, प्रयोगों नियमों को प्रमाण माना और आदर्शवादियों ने व्यक्ति का सम्मान किया.
Brief critique of both the thoughts, idealism and materialism, is that consciousness from matter and matter from consciousness is yet to be evidenced. Devotion and renunciation on one side, and unabated scientific experiments on the other side, yet the truth has been eluding humankind in both these thoughts. Materialists believe that instruments are the evidence. Idealists continue to believe that ideal persons are the evidence. Criteria of recognizing ideal persons is devotion and renunciation. Criteria of assuming that instruments are the evidence is the laboratory, which itself is instruments and equipment. Ideal persons are named learned persons, and their words are considered to be the evidence. On the other hand, materialism assumed instruments, experiments, and laws to be the evidence, while idealism looked up to individual human beings.
Okay, so I think it is also straightforward, but I mean, it's good to read it line by line so that we just develop confidence that the translation is also correct. Otherwise, we'll just read the English version. If it is not true translation, then it can mislead also. Okay, so that is where Dev bhai, Krishan bhai, you come into picture. इन दोनों की समीक्षा यही है कि चेतना से पदार्थ और पदार्थ से चेतना इस दशक तक प्रमाणित नहीं हुआ है. Brief critique of both the thoughts. Again, I think if it is clear, so we can remove it. What are both the thoughts? Is that consciousness from matter and matter from consciousness is yet to be evidenced. Okay, अभी तक नहीं प्रमाणित हुआ. Statements are there, but there is no evidence. There is no clarity how it happens. भक्ति विरक्ति प्रयोगों का अबाध गति, इन दोनों क्रम में सत्य सहज सुलभ होने का कोई मार्ग प्रशस्त नहीं हुआ. Devotion and renunciation on one side. Okay, so again, I have combined this part. भक्ति विरक्ति प्रयोगों का अबाध गति, इन दोनों क्रम में सत्य सहज सुलभ होने का कोई मार्ग प्रशस्त नहीं हुआ. वस्तुवादी यंत्रों को प्रमाण मानते रहे हैं, आदर्शवादी आदर्श व्यक्तियों को प्रमाण मानते रहे. Okay. If we make a break here and see what are we seeing here. Yeah. So devotion and renunciation on one side and unabated scientific experiments on the other. Okay, so this is the journey of humankind. There's one small section of people who have been taking devotion, the path of devotion and renunciation. So this is on one side, and unabated scientific experiments on the other. Yet the truth has been eluding humankind in both these thoughts. Okay, इसको दोबारा देखते हैं. भक्ति विरक्ति प्रयोगों का अबाध गति. तो इसको जो है ना, देव भाई कैसे देख रहे हैं? कृष्ण भाई आप भी सुन रहे हैं क्या साथ में? आई थिंक कृष्ण भाई का भी नहीं आ रहा है. तो इसमें देव भाई मेरे को तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि अभी भी जैसे चैलेंजिंग लग रहा है थोड़ा सा. सो भक्ति विरक्ति कॉमा. ओके, सो ये एक साइड हो गई भक्ति विरक्ति, और फिर दूसरा लिख दिया प्रयोगों का अबाध गति, तो वो विज्ञान वाली साइड. तो भक्ति विरक्ति ऑन वन साइड, प्रयोगों का अबाध गति मतलब विज्ञान का ऑन दूसरी साइड. इन दोनों क्रम में सत्य सहज सुलभ होने का कोई मार्ग प्रशस्त नहीं. दिस इज माय इंटरप्रिटेशन. इफ वी पुट ए कॉमा हियर, भक्ति विरक्ति कॉमा प्रयोगों का अबाध गति, इन दोनों क्रम में सत्य सुलभ होने का कोई मार्ग प्रशस्त.
जी
देव भाई.
जी भैया, बढ़िया.
I saw Spencer's thumbs up also while we were reading Hindi. So Spencer, do you understand Hindi? I always assumed that not.
I guess it was Krishan bhai.
Maybe Krishan bhai.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
No,
Spencer, say it again.
No, it was not me. I don't understand Hindi. I wish I knew more, but I at the same time as you are reading it, I just throw it into ChatGPT just to see if I can see something else or something stands out to me. You know, I'm not doubting your translation, but it just helps me uh, to stay occupied, see if something is there as well. So
Okay, okay. ठीक है देव भाई, तो इसको ऐसे लिया। तो वस्तुवादी यंत्रों को प्रमाण मानते रहे, आदर्शवादी आदर्श व्यक्तियों को प्रमाण मानते रहे। Materialists believe that instruments are the evidence. Idealists continue to believe that ideal persons are the evidence. आदर्श व्यक्तियों के पहचान का पृष्ठभूमि भक्ति विरक्ति है। Criteria of recognizing ideal persons is devotion and renunciation only. Only या itself. ओके, तो भक्ति विरक्ति ही है, उसको एम्फेसाइज किया है। यंत्र प्रमाण मानने की पृष्ठभूमि प्रयोगशाला है, वह भी स्वयं यंत्रोपकरण। ओके, सो criteria of assuming instruments are the evidence is the laboratory which itself is instruments and equipment. आदर्श व्यक्तियों को आप्त पुरुष नाम दिया है, उनके वचनों को प्रमाण माना गया। आइडियल पर्सन्स आर नेम्ड लर्नेड पर्सन्स एंड देयर वर्ड्स आर कंसिडर्ड टू बी द एविडेंस। Okay, this is again a very globally prevailing phenomenon. Okay, some great man has said something, then people are able to, like fight and have wars on, just because he has said it, it must be true. Okay, so if two great men say slightly different things, okay, the followers of one great man versus the followers of another great man, okay, like like I mean, without quite probably understanding what is being said, then all the wars on the name of religion which we are seeing are based on this. Okay, so because their word is considered to be evidence, जबकि वस्तुवादी विधि से पारंगत यंत्रों को प्रमाण माना, प्रयोग नियमों को प्रमाण माना, और आदर्शवादियों ने व्यक्ति का सम्मान किया। On the other hand, materialism assumed instruments, experiments, and laws to be evidence, while idealism looked up to individual events. Okay, good. So we can proceed further. Devbhai.
जी, इन दोनों प्रकार के मानव बहुसंख्या में इस धरती पर प्रसिद्ध हुए हैं। प्रसिद्ध होने का तात्पर्य है बहुत सारे लोगों को ज्ञात हुआ है। अभी भी दोनों विधा से ख्यात व्यक्ति इस दशक में भी देखने को मिलते हैं। इसी शताब्दी के अर्ध से देखते भी आए हैं।
Spencer. Spencer, you are mute.
yeah, sorry. Persons belonging to both the thoughts have become famous in large numbers on this planet. Famous means large number of people came to know about them. Even today, in the last decade of the 20th century, there are famous persons in both fields. We have observed this since the middle of this century.
तो इन दोनों प्रकार के मानव बहुसंख्या में इस धरती पर प्रसिद्ध हुए हैं। Persons belonging to both the thoughts have become famous in large numbers on this planet. प्रसिद्ध होने का तात्पर्य है बहुत सारे लोगों को ज्ञात हुआ है। Famous means large number of people came to know about them. अभी भी दोनों विधा से ख्यात व्यक्ति इस दशक में भी देखने को मिलते हैं। Even today, in this last decade of the 20th century, this I have added. Mostly whenever Babaji has said something like Abhibi, like he has said it, Abhibi means precisely when. So last decade of the 20th century. So I thought that although it is not mentioned here, we may as well follow the same convention in English. So even today, so what is today? In this last decade of the 20th century, there are famous people, persons in both fields. इसी शताब्दी के अर्धशतक से देखते भी आए हैं। ओके, तो देखते भी आए हैं। आई थिंक दिस इज ए फर्स्ट पर्सन अकाउंट फ्रॉम बाबा जी। इसी शताब्दी के अर्धशतक से, अर्धशतक मतलब फ्रॉम द मिडल ऑफ द सेंचुरी। सो बाबा जी was 30 years old in 1950. His birth was 1920. So what Babaji is probably saying here is that from 1950 onwards, I have also been seeing around me famous people in both these fields. Okay, so we have observed this since the middle of the century. I don't know whether we कर दें या I कर दें इसमें। इसी शताब्दी के अर्धशतक से देखते ही आए हैं, मतलब we means what?
I think I should do better.
Yes, I have observed this, then it makes more sense. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं।
इन्हीं दो प्रकार से बताए गए मनीषियों के प्रेरणा से ही इस धरती के सभी सामान्य लोग कार्य व्यवहार विचार करते आए हैं। इसका परिणाम आज की स्थिति में अर्थात 20वीं शताब्दी के 10वें दशक में मानव के साथ संघर्षशील प्रदूषण रूपी विकृत पर्यावरण वश पीड़ा, संकट, रोग, बढ़ती हुई जनसंख्या, बेरोजगारी, अनानुपाती सुविधा संग्रह का होना, हर दिन कल के लिए अधिक मुद्रा की आवश्यकता, स्रोत की क्षीणता, धरती का शक्ल बिगाड़ना, पानी का संकट, सामान्य सुविधाएं सर्वदेश सभी लोगों के लिए सुलभ नहीं होना, शोषण का अनुपात बढ़ते जाना, मानव का शोषण, प्राकृतिक संपदाओं का शोषण, बिगड़ा हुआ पर्यावरण और बिगड़ने की संभावना बढ़ते जा रही है। फलस्वरूप विविध प्रकार से सभी लोग कुंठाग्रसित रहते हैं।
Thank you,
Common
Devbhai.
Common people on earth have been working, behaving, and thinking as per the inspirations of the learned persons from both these fields. However, it can be seen in the last decade of the 20th century that the human-human conflict, suffering due to pollution, menacing diseases, rising population, unemployment, disproportionate luxury accumulation, inflation, resource depletion, soil erosion, water scarcity, poverty, increasing exploitation of humans and natural resources, degrading environment, all these are on the rise. As a result, all the people remain frustrated due to one reason or the other.
Okay, so good, thank you. One observation here is that this is one of the rare paragraphs where the English translation appears to be shorter than Hindi. Okay, normally I have seen that if Hindi is 3 sentences, English makes it in English it becomes 4 or 5. It is generally like this. Okay, so let us just see that the translation is correct. We have not made a mistake.
Now we're suspicious.
Okay, देव भाई, तो इसको देखते हैं. Now it is again a very long sentence, so just so we do not lose focus, it is like this. Okay, so this is 3 sentences. इन्हीं 2 प्रकार से बताए गए मनीषियों, ओके, सो द लर्नेड पीपल इन बोथ द फील्ड्स, इन्हीं 2 प्रकार से बताए गए मनीषियों के प्रेरणा से इस धरती के सभी लोग, के सभी सामान्य लोग कार्य व्यवहार भी विचार करते आए हैं. Common people on earth have been working, behaving and thinking as per the inspirations of the learned people from both these fields. Okay, so far so good. Now इसका परिणाम आज की स्थिति में अर्थात 20वीं शताब्दी के 10वें दशक में क्या है? मानव के साथ संघर्षशील. ओके, इसको लिखा ह्यूमन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. ओके, ये मानव मानव के साथ संघर्ष से। प्रदूषण रूपी विकृत पर्यावरण वश पीड़ा, सफरिंग ड्यू टू पॉल्यूशन। संकट रोग जो है, मतलब आई वाज स्ट्रगलिंग हाउ टू डू इट, सो इट इज लाइक आई थिंक मेनेसिंग डिजीजेस, ओके, सीरियस डिजीजेस, संकट रोग। बढ़ती हुई जनसंख्या, राइजिंग पॉपुलेशन, बेरोजगारी, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट, अननुपाती सुविधा संग्रह का होना, डिस्प्रोपोर्शनेट लग्जरी एक्यूमुलेशन, हर दिन कल के लिए अधिक मुद्रा की आवश्यकता। आई थिंक सिंगल वर्ड हियर इज इन्फ्लेशन,
Yeah,
राइट?
that's how you were able to cut down on
Yeah,
words.
that's where.
ठीक है, हर दिन कल के लिए अधिक मुद्रा की आवश्यकता। स्रोत की क्षीणता, रिसोर्स डिप्लीशन, धरती का शक्ल बिगाड़ना, okay, soil erosion, like all the problems which Babaji is saying, so मेरे को लगा इसमें soil erosion जो है वो डाला जा सकता है। तो धरती का शक्ल बिगड़ना मतलब on the surface of the earth, धरती जो है वो soil के रूप में। पानी का संकट, water scarcity, सामान्य सुविधाएं, सर्वदेश सभी लोगों के लिए सुलभ नहीं हो पाना। सो सिंगल वर्ड हियर इज पॉवर्टी।
Very nice. Very nice.
तो सामान्य सुविधाएं सर्वदेश सभी लोगों के लिए सुलभ नहीं हो पाना, गरीबी, पॉवर्टी। शोषण का अनुपात बढ़ते जाना, शोषण का अनुपात बढ़ते जाना, और साथ में फिर क्या कर दिया, शोषण को ही शायद कहा मानव मानव का शोषण और प्राकृतिक संपदाओं का शोषण। सो द सेंस ऑफ ऑल दिस, शोषण का अनुपात बढ़ते जाना, और शोषण क्या है, मानव मानव का शोषण और प्राकृतिक संपदाओं का शोषण। तो इसको कर दिया इंक्रीजिंग एक्सप्लॉयटेशन ऑफ ह्यूमंस एंड नेचुरल रिसोर्सेस। ठीक है, बिगड़ा हुआ पर्यावरण और बिगड़ने की संभावना, सो डिग्रेडिंग एनवायरनमेंट, बढ़ते ही जा रहा है। ऑल दीज आर ऑन द राइज।
You taken a lot of liberty, but good liberty.
We are not losing anything, I think.
Right, right.
I mean, I read it phrase by phrase between one comma to the another just to make sure that we have covered all aspects.
Okay. I want
Okay.
to point out just one thing, Bhaiya.
Yeah.
So it can be seen in the last decade of the 20th century. So somehow I feel that it may give an impression that uh, that it was like this till this point only.
Yeah. So I think what the Babaji is saying here is, ये सब बढ़ते जा रहा है। तो आज हम ये सब देख रहे हैं, and it is on the rise. So it is not that it has been done in the last 10 years or 20 years or 50 years. It has been going on primarily in the industrial age, basically in the last 200, 300 years. Okay. So all these things are being seen and they are on the increase. They are on the rise. So if you have any other suggestion to capture it better, बताइए, उसको भी देख लेते हैं.
I wonder if we can simply put this in the last decade of the 20th century in
Yes.
braces.
Okay. However it can be seen, इसको ऐसे करते हैं. Like this.
Right. जिससे कि ये clear हो पाए कि because that's the time that
Yes.
he was talking
Okay.
about.
Yes.
He was
Okay.
there.
Yeah. I think it is good. Can be seen that human conflict, all these are on the rise. I'm good with this. Yes. बाबा जी ने भी जो ये अर्थात वर्ड लगाया है, अर्थात का यही मतलब रहता है इन अदर वर्ड्स. ओके, सो आई थिंक लाइक इन ए लॉन्ग सेंटेंस, मतलब वो पैराग्राफ से थोड़ा सा बेटर हो जाएगा. पैराग्राफ नहीं, सॉरी, पैरेंथेसिस से.
जी.
फलस्वरूप विविध प्रकार से सभी लोग कुंठाग्रस्त रहते हैं. एज ए रिजल्ट all the people remain frustrated due to one reason or the other. Okay? All these problems, they affect all of us in one way or the other, and that causes us physical, mental agony and suffering. बताइए.
Very nice.
ठीक है, स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड है. इंग्लिश ऑल्सो लाइक इट हैज कैप्चर्ड इट, आई थिंक.
Yeah,
एंड
sounds good.
आई लाइक इट. ये बाबा जी अच्छे, इस चैप्टर का शुरुआत में ना बड़े अच्छे से जो है वो एक फ्लो सा बन रहा है. देयर आर फ्यू थिंग्स जिसकी तरफ ध्यान जा रहा है.
And I like
जी.
the way you translated, rather. I mean, I really want to say it again.
ओके.
It's like, you're not literally translating, but first you understood and then you translated, which is, I think, highly appreciable.
This is my motivation of doing the translation. It is developing my own understanding actually.
Right.
Okay, now this is again a long paragraph, so I already subdivided it in two parts, and देखते हैं कि इसको कैसे करते हैं. इसको कर लेंगे, आज हो जाएगा. जी,
जी
देव भाई. एंड आई थिंक शैलेंद्र भैया has also joined. नमस्ते शैलेंद्र भैया.
जी भैया नमस्ते.
नमस्ते
धन्यवाद.
नमस्ते. जी, बढ़िया. ठीक है, देव भाई कंटिन्यू कीजिए.
शिक्षा की विडंबना यही है कि विज्ञान विधा से विशेषज्ञता से प्रभावित है. विशेषज्ञता किसी विधा के किसी अंश में अपने को प्रतिष्ठित करने के प्रयत्नों में कार्यरत होना पाया जाता है. पुनः उसका अंश और उसके अंश के रूप में प्रयासों का उदय देखने को मिल रहा है. फलस्वरूप विशेषज्ञता प्रयोजन विहीन काला दीवाल के सम्मुख सभी विधाओं में आ चुके हैं. जैसे मात्रा विज्ञान अस्थिरता अनिश्चयता के काला दीवाल के सम्मुख है. इसके विशेषज्ञ अपना मूल्यांकन कराने में निरीह देखा गया है. दूसरा वंशानुषंगीय विज्ञान यह मानव को अध्ययन कराने में विश्लेषित करने में सर्वथा असमर्थ होकर काला दीवाल के सम्मुख होना देखा गया. तीसरा सापेक्षवाद अपने कल्पना को अज्ञात घटना के साथ वर्णित करने के रूप में विशेषज्ञों को देखा गया है. इन तीनों विधा के लिए अथवा इन विधाओं को पहचानने के लिए ऊर्जा की आवश्यकता को विज्ञान संसार में स्वीकारा गया है. यह अपने से गति ऊर्जा कहना आरंभ करते हैं. यथा चुंबकीय धारा को विद्युत गति के रूप में परिणत करना, विद्युत गति के रूप में परिणत करना, इस गति को और गति विधा में चलकर तरंग का नाम लेते हैं. ऐसी तरंग वस्तु है या अवस्तु है, इस तथ्य को उद्घाटित करने के लिए अभी भी प्रयोग करते जा रहे हैं. जो प्रयोग परिणतियां आती हैं, उसे अंतिम सत्य नहीं मानते हुए प्रयोगों के लिए मार्ग प्रशस्त किए रहते हैं. इस विधा में अनिश्चयता बनी ही है, वस्तु है या अवस्तु है.
It will be good if we
It is
understand all this.
It is ironic that education is influenced by the science discipline and specialization. Specialization is observed to be in the form of efforts to gain expertise in some part of a discipline. Efforts for its further divisions and subdivisions are apparently on the rise. As a result, specialization has come to a purposeless dead end in all disciplines. For example, quantum mechanics is facing a dead end of instability uncertainty. Its specialists are seemingly helpless in getting themselves evaluated. Similarly, the theory of evolution has been completely inadequate for studying human beings and reached a dead end. As a third example, it is observed that specialists of the theory of relativity are using their imagination to explain the phenomenon not completely understood so far. The need for energy in all these three disciplines has been accepted by science. They start their discussion with kinetic energy, for example, conversion of magnetic field into electric current, which may be used as work energy. And then somewhere they start talking about waves. Experiments are still being conducted to conclude whether to categorize these waves as made up of particles or not. Results of such experiments are yet to be accepted as the final truth, but the result of such experiments paved the way for further experiments. Uncertainty still looms regarding whether waves are made up of particles or not. That's nice. And still we're struggling with this question.
Okay, what is your question? Please say
No,
it.
I'm saying we're still struggling with energy. Is it a wave? Is it a particle? You know,
Yes.
Babaji wrote this a number of years back, and the uncertainty is still there. But many more experiments have happened since then.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so honestly speaking, let me not claim that I have also understood all the words or all the everything that Babaji has written here. I mean, like some words I am also guessed actually. So everything is open to improvement and suggestion. So let us try to see what we can do while discussing about this paragraph. शिक्षा की विडंबना यही है कि विज्ञान विधा से विशेषज्ञता से प्रभावित है. It is ironic that the education is influenced by the science discipline and specialization. Okay, so I have put mentally a comma at this point. So शिक्षा की विडंबना यही है कि विज्ञान विधा से कॉमा विशेषज्ञता से प्रभावित है. Okay, it is ironic that education is influenced by the science discipline and specialization. विशेषज्ञता किसी विधा के किसी अंश में अपने को प्रतिष्ठित करने के प्रयत्नों में कार्यरत होना पाया जाता है. Specialization is observed to be in the form of efforts to gain expertise in some part of a discipline. So there's a broad discipline. Okay, then you subdivide it into further disciplines, and then you become expert in that. So specialization is observed to be in the form of efforts to gain expertise in some part of a discipline. Like we earlier used to have doctors. Okay, now in doctors also we have specialists, so heart specialist, eye specialist, kidney specialist, okay,
Right.
orthopedics, child specialist. So basically we have specialists in broadly, which was for the physical body. Okay, so far so good. पुनः उसका अंश और उसके अंश के रूप में प्रयासों का उदय देखने को मिल रहा है. Efforts for its further divisions and subdivisions are apparently on the rise. Okay, so this also we are seeing it. Okay, like 15 years ago, my father had to undergo a hip surgery. So like earlier I thought that there is only orthopedics which looks after the bones, but then we went to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences where his surgery was done, and there was a team for these transplants, and there also they said that this team has expertise in hip joint replacements. Okay, this team has expertise in elbows, and some other team has a specialization in knee replacements. So within orthopedics also, hip joints, like a person who is just doing those things again and again. So what is being said here is efforts for its further divisions and subdivisions are apparently on the rise. So far so good. I mean, there's not a problem in that also. If someone does something again and again and become experts in it, and probably do it better also. फलस्वरूप विशेषज्ञता प्रयोजन विहीन काला दीवाल के सम्मुख सभी विधाओं में आ चुकी है. As a result, specialization has come to a purposeless dead end in all disciplines. Okay. के सम्मुख सभी विधाओं में आ चुके हैं. Okay, now this is a rather sweeping statement. I'm also trying to understand it, but the good thing is Babaji is giving examples here. So whatever we discussed so far, specialization, when I said about medical field and all that is acceptable to us also. Like you do something again and again, and you become expert in it. Probably you can do it better also. So this is good. But then where probably Babaji is trying to say that this is not so good. So let us try to understand this part also now. जैसे what are the challenges? जैसे मात्रा विज्ञान अस्थिरता अनिश्चयता की काला दीवाल के सम्मुख है. For example, quantum mechanics is facing the dead end of instability uncertainty. इसके विशेषज्ञ अपना मूल्यांकन कराने में निरीह है. Its specialists are seemingly helpless in getting themselves evaluated. What exactly are they doing? Okay, what is the outcome of their research? Okay, we have these researchers, but then what exactly is its outcome? Probably there is some question mark on that. दूसरा, वंशानुषंगीय विज्ञान यह मानव को अध्ययन कराने में, विश्लेषित करने में सर्वथा असमर्थ होकर काला दीवार के सम्मुख होना देखा गया है. Similarly, the theory of evolution has been completely inadequate in studying human beings and reached a dead end. तो वंशानुषंगीय विज्ञान जो है इसको थ्योरी ऑफ इवोल्यूशन बोला है. आई डू नॉट नो वेदर दिस इज द राइट फ्रेज और नॉट. इसमें कुछ और होना हो. Like maybe now that we are talking about it, when we were in school, we studied something like Mendel's laws of heredity. Anyone else also remembers that? So, like there was a scientist Mendel
I think
yeah.
I remember he was a monk, I believe. Did he discover by crossing the P's and doing the DNA, Mendel's square?
No. I think Mendel's laws of heredity, what Mendel
Inheritance, actually. Mendel's laws of inheritance. So basically,
he did experiments on rats.
So basically, certain feature, or not feature, but characteristics getting transferred from one generation to another.
Yeah. So what he did was, if I remember right, during my school days, like he would take a rat as soon as it is born and cut its tail. Okay. Not one rat, but a few rats, and then allow them to grow up till they reach their adulthood, and then as soon as their children were born, he would cut their tail also. Okay, he observed it for something like 30 or 40 generations of rats. Okay, and his observation was that even though I cut tail of the rat as soon as it is born, okay, and when these male and female rats reach their adulthood and then they have their offsprings, I cut their tail also. Even after 30 or 40 generations, the rats which are born have tails. Okay. I will verify it, like after this session, but I think I'm pretty much sure this is what we are studying. So, on laws of inheritance or laws of heredity, actually, they were called Mendel's laws of heredity. Basically, it is on the physical features that all the studies are being done. Okay, and animals are at their center, and then we try to sort of emulate the similar laws or apply those on humans also. But in humans there is something called humaneness, which is not hereditary. Okay, in one family itself, siblings have different natures. Okay, so what is that this human nature is about? Okay, so laws of heredity, they are totally unable to address that aspect. Okay, this is what my interpretation of this part is. Okay, the theory of evolution or heredity. I do not know whether it is
Uh,
heredity or
Actually, we
evolution,
are.
whichever.
Yeah, so I think there are two things getting mixed up. It is actually inheritance. The experiment that you talked about was given done by someone called August Wiseman.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
he did it for like 21 generations.
okay. Okay, you just
Right.
googled it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, okay. सो अब इसमें वंशानुषंगीय विज्ञान जो है वो मतलब कि कुछ कह रहे हैं, इसको इवोल्यूशन भी उसको इंडिकेट करता है, थोड़ा सा हेरेडिटी भी करता है. I think we can keep thinking on it and try to see how to interpret it, and फिर we'll put proper words also for this.
Another option, just so you have a third option, is like genetic science or something like that.
वंश जो है ना, वंशानुषंगीय विज्ञान, सो वंश इज एक्चुअली स्पीशीज.
Okay.
Okay, so now so something like evolution or heredity maybe
Her-
fits better. Heredity है,
Hereditary fits better. Yes, yeah.
fits
That's what I was
better,
looking.
yes. The laws of heredity. I think we'll continue with this and review it later on. You guys also keep on thinking about it. ठीक है, तो ये तो इतना वाला हो गया. एंड नाउ द सेकंड पार्ट इज आल्सो देयर. वन मोमेंट. तीसरा, सापेक्षवाद अपने कल्पना को अज्ञात घटना के साथ वर्णित करने के रूप में विशेषज्ञों को देखा गया है. As a third example, it is observed that specialists of the theory of relativity are using their imagination to explain the phenomenon not completely understood so far. Okay? सापेक्षवाद जो है, इसको थ्योरी ऑफ रिलेटिविटी कह रहे हैं. अपना कल्पना को अज्ञात घटना के साथ वर्णित के रूप में देखा गया है. इन तीनों विधा के लिए अथवा इन विधाओं को पहचानने के लिए ऊर्जा की आवश्यकता को विज्ञान संसार में स्वीकारा गया है. द नीड फॉर एनर्जी इन ऑल दीज थ्री डिसिप्लिन्स हैज बीन एक्सेप्टेड बाय साइंस. यह अपने से गति ऊर्जा कहना आरंभ करते हैं. यथा चुंबकीय धारा को विद्युत गति के रूप में परिणित करना, इस गति को और गति विधा में चलकर तरंग का नाम देते हैं. They start their discussion with kinetic energy. For example, conversion of magnetic field into electric current, which may be used as work energy. And then somewhere they start talking about waves, है ना, और आगे चलकर तरंग का नाम देते हैं. ऐसी तरंग वस्तु है या अवस्तु है, इस तथ्य को उद्घाटित करने के लिए अभी भी प्रयोग करते जा रहे हैं. Experiments are still being conducted to conclude whether to categorize these waves as made up of particles or not. ऐसा तरंग वस्तु है या अवस्तु है. तो वस्तु जो है बेसिकली, जो हम पहले भी बात कर रहे थे कि मैटर को जो या मटेरियल सेंस में जब कहेंगे तो देन वी आर टॉकिंग वस्तु. So vastu is made of particles. So whether it is made up of particles or not, तो ये वस्तु है या अवस्तु है, इस तथ्य को उद्घाटित करने के लिए अभी भी प्रयोग करते जा रहे हैं. So experiments are still being conducted to conclude whether to categorize these waves as made up of particles or not. जो प्रयोग परिणीतियां आती हैं उसे अंतिम सत्य नहीं मानते हुए प्रयोगों के लिए मार्ग प्रशस्त किए जाते हैं। तो परिणीतियां मतलब रिजल्ट। So results of such experiments are yet to be accepted as the final truth, but the result of such experiments pave the way for further experiments. Okay, so what Babaji is trying to say here is, I think, in summary, next sentence we देख लेते हैं। इस विधा में अनिश्चयता बनी ही है, वस्तु है या अवस्तु है। Uncertainty still looms regarding whether waves are made up of particles or not. Okay, so I remember in our high school days and college days that there is this dual nature of light that also we studied. Does anyone of you remember that dual nature of light?
Yes, definitely. They had the famous double split experiment.
Yes, double slit experiment. Yes. Okay, so whether light is made up of particles or light is made up of waves.
waves.
Okay, this is still being, experiments are being done in science. So I think what Babaji is trying to say in these paragraphs. I am personally myself not an expert in all of this, so I cannot explain them. But what Babaji is saying is that most of common people have a blind faith in whatever science is saying. And what Babaji is trying to say here is science has also not reached a point of ultimate truth. Okay, in many areas. Okay, they are also still trying to figure out what light is, what matter is, okay, what relativity is, okay, on the in the field of genetics also. So there are a lot of things still remaining to be understood. Okay, this is just the nutshell of this paragraph, which we subdivided into two paragraphs. And like while I was thinking about it, there was another example which came to my mind, and I think that is what Babaji wants. He gives two or three examples, and then he gets our thought process triggered, and then we start looking at, are there some other examples also? Then I realized something, like mathematics also is considered to be something which is very very precise, and it was my favorite subject when I was a student, and I always assumed, no, ever since I have my attention is drawn to this fact of vyapak or omnipresence or omnipotence by Madhyastha Darshan by Babaji. Suddenly I have my own questions on infinity. Like in mathematics there is something called infinity. We all have studied it in our school days, right? Dev by Spencer. Yes, we have studied. So it will be good if we
Yeah.
unmute it and have a discussion right now. Like when
Yes.
I started looking at this infinity. So infinity, how mathematics in classroom we are looking at infinity is, one is this natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They go to infinity. Okay, then another infinity, like in that same word infinite is used is in saying that between two natural numbers 1 and 2 there are a lot of real numbers. Okay, and the number of real numbers between 1 and 2 is also infinite.
True.
Right, Dev bhai? Itna
Right.
dhyan hai?
बिल्कुल भैया.
Spencer, you also are
Math
able
is my
to.
weak subject, but I am following the logic. Yes.
Okay, so what they say is that between 1 and 2 also there are real numbers, like 1.1 also is a real number, 1.2 is also a real number, 1.3 is also a real number. So between two natural numbers which are 1 and 2, there are a lot of other numbers which are not natural numbers but they are real numbers. Okay, so between 1 and 2, you have 1.1, 1.2. Then you can further subdivide it, make it 1.11, 1.12,
So
1.13.
so basically
Then
now you can put like infinite numbers
infinite
after
numbers
decimal. So yeah,
after decimal. Okay,
yeah.
so this is like you keep on subdividing, and how much subdivisions you can do? You can do infinite number of subdivisions. Okay, so then they say that the number of real numbers between 1 and 2 is also infinite. Okay, now, but this infinite is different than the other infinite we were talking about, the truly boundless infinite.
Mhm.
Okay, like for example, if we say that between 1 and 2, there are infinite number of real numbers, and then between 1 and 10 also there are infinite number of real numbers. Okay, but a common person naturally realizes that there is less between 1 and 2 and more between 1 and 10.
Okay.
Okay, but mathematics is saying this is also infinite, this is also infinite.
So it's like 10 minus 1 equals to 2 minus 1 because both have infinite in between.
Infinite. Okay, so suddenly what I realize is that like we are in mathematics, and mathematics is absolute, very precise.
Yes, yes.
But this concept of infinite, I started to see gaps in this. Okay.
Wow.
Like between 1 and 2, there are infinite number of real numbers. Between 1 and 10, there are infinite number of real numbers. But then something tells me that there are less real numbers between 1 and 2, and more real numbers between 1 and 10.
You can't prove that.
Okay, okay, so no, but there are mathematicians working on if we were looking, like, let's say you had 1 acre of land and I had 10 acres of land, and we would say you also have infinite number of sand particles in your land, and I also have infinite number of sand particles in my land. So 1 acre of land is equivalent to 10 acres of land. No one will agree to that. Right. So we
Yeah.
know 10 acres of land is bigger than 1 acre of land. Okay. 1 meter cloth is smaller than 10 meter of cloth. Okay. But mathematically, what we are saying is there is infinite in this, there is infinite in this. Okay. So there is more infinite, less infinite, and then where do we go from there? Suddenly, while I did not understand what this relativity and this kinetic energy which Babaji is saying, but dual nature of light, and then this infinite thing, like this also, I mean, I started getting question marks in myself, that like there is truly one infinite, which is that boundless entity. Everything other is countable. We are not able to count it, so we call it infinite. Okay, so so this is where mathematics, both of them, has been merged into one, and then there are a few areas where I think all of us as students also had jokes in our in our mathematics classes, like 0 divided by 0, infinite, like 1 into 0 is 0, 2 into 0 is 0, so you cancel 0 by 0, 1 is equal to 2. Okay, so these kind of things. So I just thought I'll mention it to you. Maybe, in whichever area we have our own interest, we will try to see, we'll find some questions to which we also do not have answers, although we have studied in those areas.
It's very interesting. I didn't know that you were a big fan of math. I knew you were doing engineering, but I didn't make the connection.
Yeah. Okay, so I forgot it. I will just mention it. This dual nature of light also. Here also I picked up something from internet so that at least we have something here. The wave particle duality is an important concept in quantum mechanics, which describes that every particle, or more specifically the quantum entity. The quantum is quantity. So you know, anything which is physical is I think is being called quantum, which उसको उसी को बाबा जी मात्रात्मक जो है वो कहते हैं ना, क्वांटम में मात्रात्मक सिद्धांत, which describes that every particle, or more specifically the quantum entity, may be expressed as either a particle or a wave. Okay, this concept further helps to modify inability of the classical mechanics approach or theories to fully describe the behavior of the matter. Okay, so behavior of the matter, a classical mechanics or classical scientist is not able to describe the behavior of matter, and then quantum mechanics is trying to assist that. So there are areas which are not yet fully understood in science also. This is broadly what Babaji is saying. But for a common person, what has happened is, this is, I think, hamara is taraf, when we think like this is what has happened in idealism also. Okay, some things make sense to us. Okay, so we have faith in that. But then there are other things which we have not understood, but we believe that the ideal persons, those who are better than the great people, they have understood it. But Babaji is saying that this also needs to be verified. Similarly, here also, we have not understood a few things as common persons. We believe scientists have figured it all out. What Babaji is saying is, please verify whether scientists have figured it all out or not. But this is the only thing Babaji is saying.
So I know we are out of time here, but honestly speaking, I'm sorry for the candid confession, but I'm not able to relate to whatever is being said in these 2-3 paragraphs. As you mentioned, the term sweeping statement.
Yeah.
That's what I also think. I think it's a little too harsh, basically, to what has been done so far. So for example, when we say that, you know uh, still some kind of research is going on and all that, so we already know that there is a research going on. We already know that, there is still a confusion, and it's evident. It's not like किसी ने कुछ करके बोला है कि this is the final thing, and in hindsight there is some research going on. So I don't know, I think I am still in either confusion or not able to.
No, I think the takeaway from all this is, which in Madhyastha Darshan, in our introductory workshops, this is emphasized also, that we have to understand the whole and we have to understand the part also. So our living is local. Okay, we will be in our professions, we will be taking part in one profession. My profession will be different, your profession will be different. But as far as the existential whole is concerned, that is common for you and me and for everyone else, always.
Right.
Okay, so while special, I think maybe it has not come out so clearly in these words, but I'm not, maybe there is a lack of understanding on our part.
Probably, yes.
Like, I would like to look at it like this: there is no problem in specialization, but with specialization, understanding of the whole is also required. Okay. Right now, what is happening is, people who are specialists they are truly talented people, but their talented is so much narrow focused. Okay, only on the area of their specialization. That these talented people, if they also looked at the whole also, okay, and understood that, the results would be better and wholesome. That is the only thing I think is missing. Like in medical science, the focus is on the body part. Okay, and then like whatever so that is considered to be the whole, and all the specialization is going in that direction. There is no harm in that. But then what is beyond the body, that got missed out. That got missed out by all of science. Okay, so they started with some part of our living, which is the materialistic living, the materialistic world, which includes our body also, and then started focusing on that. Yes, we need eye specialists, we need heart specialists, but then do not we need the people who understand everything also? That is what I think is the takeaway from this.
जी भैया, probably I think we'll need to, I mean, at least I need to revisit.
Yeah, sure. And all of us are sort of, in the process of reflecting on this only, trying to understand.
Could you just repeat your thinking, what you were saying? I didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
Okay, भैया, if you can please scroll up a bit from the beginning of this. So, okay, so Spencer, if you look at the the first statement itself, it is ironic that this is influenced by the science discipline. So first thing, I am not able to comprehend what is ironic about it. uh, okay, and then and again, next statements like specialization and all. Once again, as Sanjeev here also mentioned, I don't see anything wrong with specialization. For example, MBBS 2, first MBBS is done, and first, in fact, biology is learned in school, and then MBBS is done, and then the doctors go on to do MDs and MS and all that. So, like cardiologists, they become, for example. So MBBS is all about the full body, and then they specialize into certain organ, right? Again, I don't. I'm not able to catch what's. I mean, that's a great idea as per my understanding. That's a good thing.
Mhm.
So so uh, so basically, I'm not able to understand why this is being highlighted as something ironic or not so good or not so great. uh, Maybe I'm missing the relation.
Yeah, but I think again, Spencer, your comments on that first.
No, I see. I don't have like an answer right now. Maybe Babaji describes more coming up in the coming paragraphs. I see your point. Like it feels like when you get good at something, then you can keep becoming more and more refined in that thing, and you keep understanding more details about it, and then you can become expert in something very specific. So I suppose when it comes to skills, then there's no harm in skills. But I suppose when it comes to understanding, like understanding should be holistic, right?
Exactly.
So understanding is either of coexistence, like in complete laws and everything, or you have not grasped the complete laws. So yeah, I think with skills, I definitely see the value in specialization, but I think that's my point, is that with understanding, it's either complete or incomplete. And if you delve into just one area, and then the other thing that I see, what Babaji that is of value, is that what he said, and I'm not sure this paragraph, but we come up with some ideas, and then without fully resolving it or coming to something conclusive, we build more ideas upon it. So without being conclusive about wave or particle, we keep building more and more formulas, and in the end we have an entire theory of the universe with all the dark energy and all these different things. Maybe that's not what you're pointing out here, but just my thoughts.
Sure.
Okay, so I get your point. Thereby, I think it I mean, I'm also thinking about it. I'm not saying that I have fully resolved it, but I think one starting point is if we are this sentence is coming as a in our way to understanding is that it is the incompleteness of science. That is the only thing which is being
Probably.
highlighted here. It is ironic that we have made our content 100% scientific because it is assumed, the faith is that science can say nothing wrong. Science knows what it is saying. Okay, so what Babaji is trying to say in these paragraphs, one is that science also doesn't know everything. That's why the research is going on, not only for development. One is research is going on for developing new techniques and technologies. Second is basic fundamental research is going on for understanding things which scientists have not understood. And second, as far as the specialization part is concerned, without understanding the whole, the holistic part, just becoming specialist in a sub area or sub area, okay, doesn't lead. I mean, it gives incomplete results. Let us put it this way.
जी भैया, certainly we'll deliberate more on it.
Yeah. Good. So this is where we stand, and I think I will put here, when are we meeting next? 18 August. Okay. Thanks for joining. It was a slightly longer session today. We overstayed by 20 minutes, but we had good discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I'm
Spencer.
sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I don't want to add anything else, but I just came up with one example.
Please. Yeah, please.
No, I have one friend, older gentleman, and when I'm thinking about specialization, he comes to mind because he was a neuropathologist. So he specialized in the brain, first in medicine, then in the brain, and then in specifically identifying diseases and problems in the brain. So they would bring all the samples, all the slices, all the photos of the brain. And now that he's aging, he is so caught up in all the things related to brain. He has no just became super paranoid about that. He puts all his problems, emotional, relationship, psychological, fatigue, everything goes into some sort of brain problem and where it is in the brain, because this is how he studied his whole life. So it just feels like his field of vision has become very narrow. He doesn't see the effect of relationships and, well, first of all, that there's more to human being than brain, and just a point that came to my mind.
Yeah.
About how specialization can lead to narrow-mindedness as opposed to open-mindedness.
Yeah. Devbhai, as a pointer, another thing suddenly comes to my mind is that Babaji is also talking about 4 dimensions of human living. Okay, Anubhav, okay, which is realization. Okay, Anubhav, Vichar, which is the thinking part, Vyavsay, which is the professional part, and Vyavhar, which is the behavioral part. Okay, so all this specialization which we are talking about, this is part of the professional activities, occupational activities. Okay, now we have considered, this is the notion in deluded tradition that this itself is the whole living. Okay. So a heart specialist, basically, he is good in his profession. Okay, so vyavsay wala part is good, but what about the realization part? What about the thinking part, nyaya dharma satya wala part? What about the vyavhar part, the behavior part? Okay, so these are the holistic living is these 4 parts for a person. Okay, professional or the occupational part is one part out of this. Okay, science handles this.
Right.
Okay, the other three parts are missing. This is what you see in the society. This is what you see in the families also. So I think in first reading probably it comes out as specialization is wrong. I think what Babaji is trying to say is not wrong, but grossly incomplete.
Right.
For a satisfying life.
जी भैया.
ठीक है? Needs
जी,
more
जी.
thinking by
Thank you
all
for
of
sharing
us.
this.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Namaste. Have a good night. Good day.
Yeah.
नमस्ते भैया, नमस्ते सभी को.